Yeah, man, we here. Here we are, figuring shit out. Episode 99 of them things, Frank. We almost at 100. You did.
Basically at 100, yeah. Just
Yes,
one
I
more.
am King Gothy. I know what time it is. Unified Thrive. If you ain't heard, if you ain't know, you know what time it is. Frank, what's going on with you over there?
Not much, man. My book is coming out. By the time this
Yeah.
comes out, it should be
Okay.
dropped. I miscalculated the Library of Congress control number. It takes 15 business days for that to get approved, and I didn't time it with my release date. But that doesn't matter because by the time this comes out, it should be done and out. That's all I got going on. The book, Bunny Flocks, you know what it is. Check out cyberbunny.com for your IT certification exams. Check out Elusive Perspective for media, graphics, and video. And then the book, elusiveperspective.com. Please go ahead and get that. That's what I got. What's
Yes,
up?
go get that. So today we have Miss Sanele with us today from Adult Tumbling, like Adult
757.
Tumbling. And before we get started, we got a question for you. We can ask our question, but I'm a stickler for being active, right, and moving, and being a fit person. So I don't see
Okay.
too many adults tumbling. So we're gonna get into it. We can get into it. You tumble, Frank? Don't look like that.
I'm not sure. Well, we gotta define it first. I
You
don't know
can do
what
a cartwheel. I could see. I believe in you.
that you know what? That's dope. I might do that for the 100th episode because my wife would say she don't.
I think
I'm
you
with
could
your
do
wife,
it
Frank.
with a little guidance. I think you'd be all right.
I mean, I used to do it when I was younger. It can't be that hard. You know what I'm
See,
saying?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the right
so,
attitude.
so it sounds like adult tumbling is needed. So, Mr. Nelly, before we get started, our first question is: what is your figuring shit out moment? Uh, Something to get you an aha that made you start moving differently, moving forward,
Okay, with adult tumbling specifically,
whatever it is.
Anything.
anything. Man, that's a really good question. Okay, I like that. I like
That's
that.
why we here.
Okay, so I'll say like personally, my figuring shit out moment was um failing out of college. I would say
Okay.
my first time, like I eventually graduated. My first time going to college, I failed out of school.
Like the
Because I
first
was
year.
just yeah, like after my freshman year, yeah, I failed out of school with like a 1.4 and had to come back home. I was at VCU in Richmond
Mm.
and I had to come back home. I had gained a lot of weight. I had because all my life I always did gymnastics and cheerleading and things like that. So freshman year, I got like the freshman. They talk about the freshman 15. I had
Yeah.
like the freshman 50. Like
Hey,
yes.
he's good.
So failed out of school, freshman 50, had to come back home, and then I ended up losing all that weight. Like I got my degree was always in exercise science. I was always interested in that kind of stuff, but I think I was just having a hard time during that time. So came back, focused on myself, lost all the 50 pounds, got back to like athletic shape and things like that. And then I VCU, they trifling for this. They won't give you your transcript. So if you owe them any type of money, they will not give you your transcript to transfer to another school. So I
Wow.
couldn't transfer schools. And the only way I could transfer schools is if I paid, I think, at least a third of what I owed them for a semester, which was like $15,000. So if I had to pay them like $5,000 lump sum upfront for them to give me my transcripts to be able to transfer schools.
Give
So
me my
there,
money.
This how you know
yes,
college is a scam, bro. But that's neither here
listen,
or there.
listen. I don't recommend. I do not recommend them. So if I ended up going to TCC because TCC will let you take classes whether you have a transcript or not, and I was able to finish on some of the courses I was taking as I was trying to kind of come up with the money for how I was going to get that, be able to get my transcripts. Eventually, my aunt blessed me. She was able to pay that lump sum. I was able to get my transcripts, transferred to ODU, was able to graduate in 2021 with my bachelor's in
Oh,
exercise science.
There you go.
And that second chance, like feeling like, man, like I felt like I really felt at the time when I filled out of school, I really felt like I ruined my life,
Right.
right.
even though it's not that deep. Like,
Not at all.
I'm not
Society
saying
society
filling
make
out of
you feel like that.
yeah, I'm not saying filling out of school is a good thing. I'm not saying it's something you should strive for, but in all reality, as far as like overall being as a person, failing out of school is not that deep.
Right.
But that was definitely like my aha moment of like, I feel like I got a second chance, you know, and I never like played with school or any opportunity again
Right.
after
Okay.
that.
That's what's up.
And you
So
know,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. And I was gonna
No,
say, you know, most millionaires and entrepreneurs and billionaires didn't go to school. You know what I'm saying? So you're right, it is not that deep. You know what I'm saying? There's multiple pathways to success, but you know, that's society, that's the pressure society puts on us.
yeah.
But yeah, there's either
And 60 to 70% of people who got a degree don't use it, don't work in their field. You know what I'm talking about? So
can't find a
that's another
job.
story. And I
Mhm.
can relate to you kind of failing out of school almost. I didn't fail out, but I went to a 2.5 year school and it took me 4 years. You know what I'm talking about? I went to ECPI and I always knew I wanted to go there, but it was a whole lot of, life happening in between. But it was like you said, I got that second chance of just finish. And I had my thing was like there are no men in my family with a college degree on my mom's side, right? So I was like the first one. So it was like you got to do it just because the kids coming up after you ain't got no excuses, right? And it was kind of tough, but it was more like a let's get it done because you setting the standard. But it
Yeah.
took me way too long. So
Right. And my
Look,
high
man, let us
school,
say too long is just your journey.
right.
yeah, there we are.
And you talk about low GPA, my high school record,
What you got
trash.
for it? I was a 1.9.
I might, it could have been close to that. It could have been like 1.8 or something. I did not care. I
Yeah.
had no drive. I had no motivation. High school,
Finish.
barely. I didn't even graduate on time. I'm putting it out there. I had to do
Okay.
like English and like the summer thing and I didn't even walk or nothing. But I am very successful now, so whatever. It don't
Look,
even matter.
that's all
Too
that
much
matters.
for you.
Yeah. So,
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
so
So
tumbling. Go ahead. Go ahead. What you got?
now I was about to say tumbling. How'd you decide to make tumbling your business or your career?
Well,
Because
hold
you
up. What
said,
is tumbling? We
go
we
ahead.
gotta
There
we
we go.
gotta define this. And then it's adult tumbling. So like you got adult in the name. So we need to iron this
Set
out.
set the record
Set some
straight.
boundaries.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tumbling is cartwheels, handstands, backflips. Okay. So think about when you see gymnastics, when you see the Olympics, and you see all the different apparatuses. And then we're talking about floor specifically. And we're talking about the passes that they do on floor, all the flips and stuff like that. That is tumbling.
Oh, that's a
That
technical
is
term. Okay, I didn't know that.
yes. Yeah. So tumbling, there's gymnastics and then there's trampoline and tumbling as well, which is a separate apparatus in itself.
Got you. Okay.
Okay. Apparatuses.
And
All
then
right.
there's
I just
cheerleading.
just thought that tumbling and gymnastics was the bars, the rings, the flips, the dust, all
It
that.
gets deep. It gets deep, man. It gets deep. Because then you got acro, which is a style of tumbling, is a form of tumbling that dancers do. Then you got power tumbling, which is the type of tumbling we teach at Adult Tumbling 757. That's what you see Simone Biles do, gymnasts, competitive cheerleaders. That's power tumbling.
So you can teach me how to do a 720 twist tuck.
What?
We could work something out.
What? I don't even know what that is.
Like I'm gonna throw up in the air.
So, okay, so let's start from the beginning. Like, how did you get into this and like what's the goal for your clients?
So the way I got into this was like I said, so I started competitive gymnastics at the age of 6. So I did competitive gymnastics from age 6 to about 11, 12. And then I discovered cheerleading. I didn't compete my first 2 years, but the 4 years after that, I was doing competitive cheerleading. So from 6 to senior year of high school, I always did either gymnastics or cheerleading, which always involves some type of tumbling. I got my degree in exercise science from ODU. And at the time, I was interning at a sports performance training facility called First String Sports. They're located in Norfolk. Super dope. Helping dudes get ready for the NFL Combine. Super cool experience working with hockey players, volleyball players, all types of athletes. And then I was also coaching kids at a tumbling gym that I used to go to as a kid. So at the gymnastics facility, I was coaching kids on the side, tumbling. And then I was also working at this sports performance training facility at the same time. And it kind of dawned on me one day. I was like, I wish I could go take a tumbling class. Like from coaching the kids, I was just feeling inspired. And I was like, I want to go to class. Like I missed and working at the gym, I flip around with them all the time. So it was like, it's not that I didn't get the opportunity to tumble, but I missed going to class specifically. I looked, there were no tumbling classes for adults. Like if you call any of the gyms, they're like, no adults.
Wow.
We only take kids. The closest to here, I think, is in Richmond. From Hampton Roads is in Richmond. So
there was a need for this specifically in this area. That's super dope. You found a gap, and you feeling it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. I was like, I can't be the only one who randomly would want to go take a tumbling class.
Right. That sounds fun. It sounds like a fun date. I mean, I don't know. You break an ankle or something. I mean, I'll be sad, but I mean, how hard is it? How hard is for somebody who doesn't necessarily exercise or move a lot? How difficult would it be to tumble?
So that's a really great question. So the way we have it structured is we have all of our classes split by skill level. So there's a beginner class, an intermediate class, and an advanced class. So you're going to be at the skill level that you're at. Beginner is meant for people with no experience, who've never tumbled before a day in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
If you've never exercised, like there is ranges. I'm gonna just be honest. There are some ranges that you might want to check off before you come to tumbling class. If you've never exercised,
or what about stretchiness?
So we also have stretch classes too.
Okay.
But in our classes are 90 minutes. 20 minutes of that is warming up and stretching. So we spend a good amount of class warming up and stretching, just because the nature of the activity, and we have grown folks, doing these types of movements. So you want to make sure the body is well prepared. So we definitely do a lot of stretching. I would say if you've never exercised before, tumbling might not be the first exercise that shouldn't be your first day in the gym. That's all I'm gonna say.
They wake up and say, "I'm going to flip. I'm going to hit the back, tuck the jack."
I would not say to make that your first time ever exercising, but if you're just moderately in shape, like nothing crazy, like you don't have any restrictions or things like that, a beginner class is fine. Like you will make it.
Okay.
You won't leave back flipping. You won't leave back flipping, but
you
can do some cartwheels.
You might be
sore. Do some handstands.
No, I'm sure I'm good with cartwheels. I used to do cartwheels, and I was a roundhouse. I probably 20 years ago. Now, I don't know.
Well, we will put him in intermediate.
Yeah. No, I'll be fine. It'll be fun to try. What is the hardest thing? Like, I guess, okay, so what is the most advanced activity? Backflipping? Is backflipping tumbling, or?
That is tumbling. So there's various forms of backflips. Backflips can get very difficult. I would say, man, the Biles, that is actually, she's made history. Simone Biles, and then Angel Reese, if you ever want to get into other really well-known famous tumblers, she's another Black woman. She's in the cheer space. She has a Guinness World Record. The stuff she does, they're in their own lane. Like there's tumbling, there's advanced tumbling, and then there's them. So I would say the Biles, anything that involves twisting multiple times is going to be something more difficult. So yeah.
I'm on the website. King, you think you can do a backflip? When's the last time you backflip?
I can do a roundhouse. I've never done a backflip. I just been super scary. That's about it. I did a roundhouse. I can do a pretty high roundhouse. But so where I'm from, kids be tumbling, right? Kids will jump off the goddamn fence. They'll do the pissy mattress off the light pole type, and also they didn't have access to a actual gymnastic or tumbling gym, right? Just from the hood or whatever. And so I'm just thinking about people as an adult. Like, how many people as an adult try gymnastics or try to tumble or even seek out to go? I want to go learn to do a backflip. I want to go do some flipping because I got kids
Oh yeah.
and my kids do a little bit of gymnastics here and there, but they gymnastics is just running on the balance beam, jumping in the foam pit. My kids is quite little. All right, so what?
Oh, they
How
Gucci.
often do adults look look to it?
So that is interesting enough, right? When I first started it, I was starting it for someone like myself, which
Mm-hmm.
were, people that used to do the sport and are passionate about the sport, want to get back to their glory days. But
Right.
from doing the business, I found our highest selling class is beginner, which are people who have never tumbled before, who've always wanted to learn, which that was probably my biggest like discovery that I found on accident from doing this business.
Okay.
Is I
Okay.
thought I was going to bring out all these like old cheerleaders, old gymnasts. No, 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 no. I bring out the people that are like, what? My mom never would sign me up for gymnastics. I've been waiting my whole life to try gymnastics. And
Right.
there is a whole like demographic. There's a whole world of people who share that same sentiment, whether they couldn't afford it growing up, they didn't have access, to an actual facility and things like that. And that has been like they are definitely our highest selling demographic. And then we also have the people who didn't get very far. So they learned a cartwheel, but they never got their back handspring. They never got the backflip, and they want to pick it back up to see if they can achieve that.
Yeah.
And
Mine.
hold on, Frank. I looked it up. So Angel Reese, she got the world record for the most consecutive double doubles, 15 straight. And I don't know the
Double
rest of
doubles.
me. It say consecutive double doubles.
Triple
Let's see.
axel.
Man, I'm tripping. I'm reading the wrong Reese. You can scratch that whole piece.
No, I was
Boy,
gonna say, as a kid, like I always wanted to do like karate and kung fu and like martial arts, but we was
mm,
poor and we couldn't do that. So I'm wondering if like this adult tumbler, you can incorporate some of these flips into like some martial art or something. Like if you good with tumbling, you might be good with kung fu. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So a lot of our customers, we get a lot of dancers, we get a lot of martial artists, people who are into jujitsu, Muay Thai, and things like that. There's usually a lot of synergy with
Hmm.
jujitsu and gymnasts,
Right. Yeah,
and
because
things
they're
like
on the ground. Like my son was in Muay Thai Jiu-Jitsu, a lot of grappling, a lot of ground stuff. So it seems like if you're athletic and you're in that avenue already, you'll probably be good. Um,
Yeah, I boxed when I was in a teenager as well, and I've done some jujitsu. I can grapple a little bit, not well, but I can grapple a little bit. I
getting
know
funky, huh?
a little bit of Muay Thai,
mhm.
because it's very common to like martial arts in that space.
That'll be dope. I mean, I've never backflipped a day in my life. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It'd be probably dope to go and try. I know this step by step. You can look up a YouTube video and then you see a professional do it and you're like, they make it look easy, but then it's like it's harder when you're trying, especially if you ain't
Ain't
got
on
like,
your arm, bro.
Yeah.
yeah, if you ain't got like pads and pillows and blankets and you trying to do it, on
In
a
a
hard floor.
spotter.
Right.
Um, I was about to say, I seen a YouTube clip or make some, in the internet clip, some dude was saying that gymnastics is super important for kids. Like kids who play all kinds of sports, they should probably get into gymnastics first because
Mhm.
it'll help with baseball, swimming, basketball, hockey, all other sports because it's helping their
Absolutely.
coordination. Is that true?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will say, like, naturally I am not a very athletic person.
Hmm.
I was one of those. I'm actually a very two left feet kind of person.
Okay.
But from starting gymnastics so early, in gymnastics you learn so much spatial awareness, where you are just in gravity, things like that. Your hand-eye coordination. There is no sport. Gymnastics prepare you for any type of physical activity, and that's really what it just comes down to. Because a lot of things in gymnastics are calisthenic. They are using your own body to create power, using your own body for strength and things like that. So I don't think I would have been able to do any other sport. I'm a very clumsy, like my friend, like you can ask my friends. I am a clumsy, not coordinated person, but because of gymnastics, I can make it through.
You get by.
Right.
I can get by.
Do you think tumbling can be an avenue towards like a weight loss program? Like, do people join a class and participate for health reasons more so than maybe having fun, or is it? Do you think there's a link there that can be illustrated?
Oh, absolutely. So on average, a person burns anywhere from 400 to 800 calories a class.
Wow.
In a 90-minute class. I alone coaching burn around 300, just
That's
coaching.
dope.
So there's a lot of cardio, which is going to be very important for weight loss. There's a lot of, it's a very good mix. You get everything you kind of need in your body. We do mobility. So you get that stretching, you get the cardio, you get the strength training, a lot of holding up your own body weight, a lot of core work, things like that. So it's very good for someone who's trying to lose weight.
Yeah, and that because the calorie counter is like I used to be a calorie counter. Like the thing that I hated about calorie counting is counting, but then cardio, like getting on a treadmill or jogging, it can be boring for some people. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's just one of those mundane things. You're just doing the same action. But I can imagine doing a class like this, a tumbling class where you're learning something and you might be doing cartwheels or whatever. It's fun, so you're not even really, noticing the time pass. You're burning more calories, and then by the time it's over and you don't burn like 400 or 500 calories. I think that's
Absolutely.
pretty dope.
And too, sometimes when you're only running and things like that, you're not going to burn as much calories as if you are when you're doing things that have intervals. You're changing the intensity throughout the workout.
Okay. Would you suggest like a whole family tumble together or do gymnastics together? Because like I said, when I take my kids to gymnastics, it's just them by themselves. I want to go flip and hang out with them too. So you got something like that too, or?
So we don't have anything for kids. So we're no
It's called
kids.
adult tumbling.
Yeah, we are no kids allowed.
The kids got all that stuff.
They do.
Yeah, so our whole so we have had a family come with their like a dad and his adult children, and that was, I thought that was dope. They did good. The dad, he held his own. He did good. But our whole brand is about only being for adults, just because there's always things set up for kids to learn. There's always things set up for kids to play or for kids to discover and things like that. And we want to make sure like this is somewhere where adults can come. They don't got to worry about, a kid's gonna hear me curse. You can curse because it's grown-ups.
I'm really fighting right now, trying to say I'm fighting to saying fuck those kids, but we just figured shit out. Fuck those kids. This is adult tumbling, guys. 757. No kids. 18 and up.
I feel you. What about the older generation? You said a dad came with adult kids. What about grandma and grandpa? Is this something for them too? Because they need to stay mobile. They gotta stay.
That's
right,
where the injuries and the waivers, health waivers.
So
talk to him. I think she on my side.
Okay, so the oldest participant we've ever had was 67.
Okay,
but he is also a hot yoga instructor and does like acro yoga. So he's not your average 67-year-old man. So let's just keep that in context.
Yeah.
Keep that in context. I would say we don't typically get a lot of participants over the age of 45, 50. We have some in that 50-year-old range. And the ones who are older are in better shape. I will say if you are going to be older and tumble, you definitely can, but you're going to have to be in better shape than a younger person.
When you said
For sure.
45, that struck me in my soul because I just turned
Hey
40.
Frank, hey Frank, hey Frank.
I'm like, what you laughing about?
I'm laughing at you. Thought it was a 45, bro. And it's around the corner for me too, like 7 years away. But it's like,
It's
but
half a
my whole
decade
purpose
away.
of saying it is like, look at the guy who's 67, right?
No, yeah.
Clearly, he's doing something that other 67-year-olds aren't doing or didn't do in their 40s, 50s, right, and early 60s, right. So that's kind of the mindset I want to be. I want to be 60 and tumbling.
Hell
You know
yeah.
what I'm
I
talking about?
No,
mean,
I
I'm with
want,
you too.
yeah,
if you start doing cartwheels now, you be on the right track.
but
Yeah,
don't
and then,
stop.
it's not even hard. I used to do car wheels. It's just been
Used
maybe
to is
like
the word, Frank. He's
25
67.
years
Ain't no more
ago.
used to. He's still doing them hoes.
I got
He's still,
strong wrists and strong ankles. I think I'll manage.
boy, your carpal tunnel gonna set in.
I'll do a cartwheel and put it on TikTok. How about that? And then I'll shout
Man,
out adult tumbling 7x7.
yeah,
Listen,
I think you should take your wife there before she can say I told you so, Frank.
Oh yeah, no, she do circles around me. It's all good. She used to dance. She used to did the dancing in high school. Not
huh.
cheerleading, but the step team and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
so
get a lot of dancers, lots of dancers, a lot of aerialists. There's a lot
mhm.
of adult circus, like people who do Cirque du Soleil type of stuff. Well, not Cirque du Soleil
Mhm.
specifically, but like that who are into circus arts.
Right. And your website, so I'm on the website now, Adult Tumbling
It's
seven
nice,
by
right?
seven. Yes, you got the videos, you got people looking like they're having fun, they flipping around and
Hey.
stuff. Like I get a feel for what the energy is when you get there. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It looks fun. I don't see nobody hurt, not really. Everybody's smiling and
No,
stuff. There's no
no
accidents, no
injuries.
ambulances, so
No,
Oh,
that's
it's
good.
very safe.
yeah.
Um, we have no injuries, very safe. We all definitely have waivers.
Mhm.
Um, but the reason that we're able to keep it so safe is we only allow around 8 to 10 students a class. So we have a it's a small, intimate class, and that's what helps us make sure injuries don't happen because we're
Right,
able to get
right,
a
right.
lot of one-on-one.
No, that's
I bet
important.
your business insurance is through the roof.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing. Like finding insurance for adult acrobatics is very difficult.
Right.
There's a lot of stipulations. Um, every participant has to sign like 2 waivers, a waiver for the facility, a waiver for us. It's a lot of waivers. We're very waivered up
Yeah.
with this type of activity. But any type of physical fitness though, you run some type of risk.
Yeah, when
So
you do like iFly or you do like
Oh
when you
yeah,
go to the trampoline parks for the kids,
yeah.
oh
the
yeah,
adults got to sign it for the kids. Nobody wants to be liable for anything, you know what I'm saying? So
the
that's just yeah.
trampoline parks have the most expensive insurance
Oh, I
coverage,
can
and
imagine.
there's a lot of insurance companies that won't even underwrite for adult acrobatics. There's a lot of insurance companies that told me no, I can
Wow.
only work with, it's a very small select of insurance companies that even will sign off on this. So this is also what contributes to there not being a lot of it. This is why you don't see a whole
Mm,
lot of adult tumbling and things like that because there's so much red tape.
mm.
So like it's almost like the barrier to entry of the market is kind of,
It's hard. It's
it's
high.
kind of hard. Like you gotta really want to do it, you
Right.
know.
But it's dope. You
So
got it. You in there. You
yeah,
got people coming through. No, it's and again, like you found a niche and you found a gap that you said what it was the nearest one was in Richmond or
hmm,
Hampton or something.
Mm-hmm.
And there was nothing out here. So like you feel like yeah, that's pretty dope. That's what business is, right? You find a gap, maybe something you're passionate about, or you find something a supply issue. You fill the supply, bring the demand, and then the rest is history. So that's pretty dope.
Thanks. And we've had people travel from Richmond to class. We've had people travel from North Carolina to come to class. So we've definitely, it's definitely a not a lot
Hmm.
out here. There is not a lot in the country in general. So it's a very emerging market, especially with the Olympics, gymnastics taking over the Olympics again. That was a very heavily marketed sport this last Olympic season. So people are like wanting to relive their glory days with gymnastics, or even start their gymnastics dream and things like that. And as like the fitness industry continues to evolve and innovate, people are going to be looking for more niche specific type of activities to do. Your regular weight loss, weightlifting class isn't going to be as attractive. That market's getting saturated, basically.
Right. So speaking of not having the fat American no more, right? Not having the obese American anymore, because clearly that trend is shifting, right? People are eating healthier, a lot of whole foods, a lot of holistic doctors,
seed
new
oils.
things. Yeah, a lot of new activities like this, or wakeboarding, or standing paddleboarding, right, are becoming real popular. How do you plan on keeping up with the demand, right? Because so for a person like me, I might get into the mode to go flip for a month, maybe two, right? But how do you keep retaining your customers to come back? Because once it gets kind of mundane, I was like, all right, what's next?
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so that's a good question. How have we done it so far, so long? I think our biggest like contribution to retention has just been marketing, branding. A lot of it is we are the only brand that markets tumbling exclusively to adults for adults. So people are very bought into the lifestyle of it. We have a wait list every month for class. So a lot of what we've been able to build our retention off of is just that lifestyle brand, people wanting to be a part of the movement.
That's dope.
And then as far as keeping it fresh, keeping it funky for people, you keep incentivizing people, you show people how they're progressing. At First String Sports, I gotta shout him out, Coach Stringfield. He really taught me like what people are looking for in a training program. Deeper, like both from the physical standpoint and the psychological business standpoint of how to keep people, how to keep clients, how to retain clients. And you got to always be able to show people how they're progressing throughout, even if it's little progressions, and always giving people the next thing to look forward. So, you're working your way up to get to intermediate. Now you've mastered this. So then you're working your way up to get to this. So I would say just engagement, the way we engage with our clients and things like that, is also what keeps people very dialed in.
Do you think, while you talking, I was thinking like, do you think this would be good for like a date night for couples, like to come
Frank,
and
take your wife.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking about. Like
we've had couples.
Yeah, and I want it to be kind of like not like a surprise, but like just bring it there, flip around, have fun. So like maybe you could like market like date nights, maybe Valentine's, in a few months, where a couple just comes and like they just exercise slash have a date. Because like me and my wife, we watch a lot of these Netflix shows, Love is Blind and all of them, and they do date things on those shows. Some of them will be boxing, they do crazy stuff, and half the time it's a physical activity. So I'm thinking like, oh, that'd be super dope for like a date night. Yeah,
we've gotten a couple of couples that'll come. We actually had and couple influencers. Yeah, is that what that's called? Like an influencer couple, like Kristen they have Reef, a brand built off of their couple.
Yeah.
Okay. So we had like some influencers come in and review our class as like a date night. We definitely get people who come with their partners. It's a very dope experience. It's very intimate because it's very humbling. Everyone's going to be very vulnerable. You're gonna fall.
Get the flip. Gotta get the corridor right. My wife is here. You know what I'm saying? I can't fall on my ass. And she'll laugh at that. And that'll be funny.
And the beautiful thing with tumbling is there's for a fact someone's going to do something that's going to make them look stupid. Guaranteed, without a doubt.
Me. What about height? Like my fault, King. But if you're tall, is it harder to tumble than if you're shorter to the ground? Because I'm like 5'11" and a half.
So I'm 5'10". To give you guys some context.
Oh, okay.
And it is harder. I'm here to tell you that it is.
This guy right here is like 6'3". King, you 6'3", bro. You can't tell me, bro.
It is harder, but it still can be done. Okay,
Right.
it still can be done. There are athletes my height and taller that do beautiful flips, but there is some more physics involved. The longer that you are.
Hey Frank, by me being so tall, like one thing I'm not gonna do is fall, because these knees and these hips, I'll be clumsy and I'll do some bumps and some bruises, and but I ain't falling because I know better.
Bro.
I can't afford to fall.
I think if you fall, you falling further than anyone else. Your fall is tall.
Look, Frank, off subject. The military used to make us do this, like we had to kneel on one knee, like for our to get in trouble, whatever. Reprimand. I used to hate it, bro. I said I'm 6'2". I can't be messing up my knees with y'all, dog. I used to hate that. But also, I was thinking when she was saying, what you were just saying, I don't like bowling, right? Because I'm not that good at it. I like being good at stuff. Like my highest game bowling is probably 70, right? I do 75. I don't like bowling. So do you have like any competitions for people like like a little gymnastics off or whatever?
So no, we have not done any competitions, but that is something that we are like considering doing as we dive deeper into our community engagement. Yeah, we need some more coaches first though. But I would love to do something like that.
All right. How you find coaches?
Honestly, they've been coming to us. So like we get coaching inquiries all the time. But hiring is tricky. There are barriers to entry with this industry, being that you're teaching adults. So we're in the process right now, though. We are in the process. So that's 2025. That is what is to come for Adult Tumbling 757. Is we are hiring coaches.
All right. So can they be like? Do they got to be like 25 and older? Or can they be fresh 18 or like?
They probably need some like health degree, right, or health certification or something.
They have to at least be 18. I'm on the fence, right, with the degree certification thing, because some of the best trainers I know don't have degrees or certifications in it. And I know a lot of people with degrees who are bad coaches, Now, what I have learned from the business side, it is cheaper to ensure coaches who do have certifications. So that did help me understand. I see why companies push for that a little bit more, because it is cheaper to insure someone if they do have a degree or some type of certification. So I may enforce some type of paperwork, and it makes it, the lawyers recommend it and things like that. It makes it a little easier in case anything happens and people want to take any kind of action against you. Those are those kind of things that they're going to look at.
Right. And it probably would minimize liability. Like, let's say something does happen and there's somebody there that's not credentialed, then they could look at you as a fault, and be like, well, she got people there that don't know what they're doing, or whatever. So and I can see why the insurance companies would probably frown upon that. They rather
absolutely, absolutely. But you'd be surprised though. So in the gymnastics world, there are no when you get into sport specific training, there isn't a lot of paperwork. And when we get into if you just want to be a personal trainer, there's a personal training certification. Running there's some certifications there. Stretching has some certifications, but once we start getting into the weeds of that sport specific activity, a lot of times there is no certification for that. Tumbling, there are tumbling certifications. It's not most coaches don't have them though. So a lot of times you take your kid to the local gymnastics, none of them have any type of exercise science degree, personal training certification. None of that. Now, I think that is going to change as the industry evolves, because people are becoming more and more and more and more aware about wellness and things like that. But as of right now, it's very common in the acrobatic space for there to be like no certification.
And so there's no, so if they're not doing it, I'm assuming there's no requirement for them to open the gym. But if there was a requirement, they probably would, hands tied, they would have to get it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So for me, because we're adults, I always, err on the extra side of caution with everything because we're adults, and I understand that one bad accident, one bad class, one bad move could shut our whole operation and the trajectory of other people wanting to enter that market of adults tumbling and things like that.
That's true.
That's big, not wanting to give the business a bad name or a bad rep. Have you thought about becoming what's the word I'm looking for? Certification facility, I think. So, your trainers come in and they can get certified through you.
Absolutely. So we are currently in the process of getting that set up. So it's a lot of paperwork and writing and money. So it's a lot of things like that. We're actually in 2025, we're planning on rebranding. Part of that rebrand is going to include having a specific training program for this activity, really kind of branding that and things like that. So we're actually kind of fundraising for this process to be able to take things to the next level, because that's basically the main thing of where we're at. A lot of times businesses are trying to get customers when they're starting out and things like that. We've like reached past that part and are now trying to scale operations.
Right.
Dope.
No, that's dope. That's it. Like, I'll be honest, before today, I didn't know what tumbling was.
Not on the radar, bro.
Not yet, not even. And then you add adult tumbling. So then there's like, okay, there's kid tumbling, now there's adult tumbling. And then I'm interested. I'm intrigued. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of curious to how I would do personally. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Y'all are so welcome to come. Please come take a class. Let me
okay, yeah.
know. Just DM me and we will get that set up.
That'd be dope. We might even record a little bit and like,
I would
post
love
it or
that.
whatever and do that stuff.
Yes, let's record Frank doing the backflip, my boy.
No, we will, but if only if it's successful will it be seen. You know what I'm saying? So
no bloopers. We getting the bloopers straight on the air.
there will be no bloopers. There will not exist.
Your perfectionism is showing, Frank.
Huh?
Your perfectionism is showing.
That's not perfectionism. That's just we're not gonna put me online falling. Now if it goes viral,
it could be somebody's inspiration story.
True.
Don't do that.
It could be viral. I mean, I
if
don't know.
Frank can do it, you can do it too.
If it blows up, maybe if we get paid, that's fine. I'll accept that. All right, it's funny. I busted my ass. Let's get some views on this. We'll see. We'll see.
You got the last question for us, Frank?
Yes. So, you probably already covered it, but what is something that you're trying to figure out right now? So in the beginning, we asked, what was your figuring shit out moment? Today, this very moment, what is something you're struggling with or something that you're trying to figure out right now?
Personally or adult tumbling 757 related?
Either or, anything.
I guess I'll go personal since I opened with personal. I would say right now, the thing that I'm trying to figure out is one, full-time entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. Right now, I work a full-time job too on top of this. So I work in B2B software sales. So would be to be able to be an entrepreneur full-time, even if this isn't like my only stream of revenue or income, having enough streams of income to be able to not work a job. And I would say, I guess I'm trying to move. So that's something I'm figuring out right now. I'm trying to move. I'm 26 to give y'all some context. So I'm kind of trying to, my quarter life crisis, trying to, trying to figure out what's next to close out the 20s.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You got some time though, 4 more years.
Plenty of time. Yeah. You're way further than me at 26. You heard?
Yeah. Me too. Yeah.
Especially entrepreneurially.
Yeah. We started late. We started super late. I woke up in my 20s, but I started super late.
It's honestly just, it's the time, it's the era. I just happen to be at this age at this time when these tools, resources, things, access are coming out. I literally, there was I was at the office and there was a middle school that came in and they're in there doing pitch practice for this products that they're developing. And I'm
That's
like,
super dope.
y'all are 11 pitching.
We talked about this on the crypto stream. I don't know if it was then or there, but how we want our children to be. It was on Sheena's joint to be entrepreneurs because we know the freedom that it provides, that it can provide. But our generation, um, our parents, they were like, get a job, go to college, get a job, become an employee, and we kind of carried that into our adulthood. You know what I'm saying? And like I said,
Unlearn that.
I turned 40 last month, and I've been an entrepreneur for a few years now. But I wish I could have started so much earlier. But I was stuck on the go to school, get a job, apply for interviews, how to interview, how to get a job, all that stuff.
Do you think the word entrepreneur was even popular when we was in high school or in college? Right.
Not for us. It was not something people wanted to be. Everybody wanted to be a rapper.
Do any
basketball.
of you guys have entrepreneurs in your family?
No.
No, I do. It's like one real one.
So
one real
mine is. So my uncle was he had his own mechanic. He had his own car shop. He raced cars, but I didn't look at his entrepreneurship. And then so my other cousins and uncles, they were street pharmacists, so they had the hustle in them, right? But for me, when I first got my taste of making my own bread, I went outside and I made like $2,500 my first day. I was just like, oh, y'all done fucked up now. Like I was.
Right, there's a whole paycheck. There's a whole paycheck in a few hours.
In a few hours, Off my own ingenuity, off my own brain, off my own manpower. I ain't had to cut it with nobody besides Uncle Sam when he came knocking, but you know what I mean? That was it. So I was.
It hits different. It does something for the soul.
It's set in the spirit, like, yeah, buddy. It was bubbling.
Yeah, no, that's super dope.
Yeah, I mean, in my household, I was definitely raised. I mean, I'm half South African, so me and my mom moved here to America when I was 2. So having grown up in a foreign parent household like that, you're gonna go to school and get a job. Heavy on you're gonna go to school. Like everything is you're gonna go to school and you're gonna go to school and you're gonna graduate and your life is gonna be what it's gonna be. But that has changed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The world
an awakening.
That has changed. I was like, man, as soon as I graduate college, y'all decide that basically this doesn't even matter anymore. There's plenty of people with master's degrees that are unemployed right now.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's a fact.
The second greatest trick the devil ever played on us, right? The first one was convincing us he didn't exist, and the second one was getting a college degree.
Yeah, at one point in time, it was lucrative, and it did offer success at a higher percentage rate. But we talking about pre-1990s, mid 1990s. I feel like in the 90s and then up to today, the whole game has changed ridiculously.
Yeah. Even my job now, I was referred to by someone who knew me through my business. So my business, I can say directly has contributed to any money that I make today.
That's dope.
If I would have graduated college and just had my exercise science degree, I don't know what I would be doing right now, because I could have went and got my master's, but I decided to invest in like myself and trying to build something for myself instead.
The better bet.
And I'm glad I did. And now that I'm like, now that it's been a couple years since I graduated college, I'm like, okay, this is the right decision.
No, that's dope.
I think me and Frank probably got the we're lucky to be working in the field we got our degrees in, right? But no, we know now we didn't need a degree. Like if we just went and got some education and got some search, right, and just kind of learn how to do it outside of the school, we could have bypassed all that and still got where we are, or probably would have been a little bit further along because you would have been looking for a job a little bit faster, right? So
But I have all the student debt, but we're not gonna talk about that.
They
That's
come to
another
get
here.
you.
That's another goddamn conversation.
Look, one of my favorite lines, "Come and get me."
Right. It's all good.
Look,
That shit
they
go.
have
That
to
shit about to go
get
away.
it back in blood, man. I don't
Right.
know.
I ain't pay that shit in 3-4 years, and they want to talk about, all right, we ready now. Like, I'm not ready, so fuck it.
I'm not.
And look,
Go ahead, put that back.
it's a million motherfuckers just like us. Hey, I don't know what you're talking about, dog.
Like what?
I done added on 3 extra monthly expenses. You have to put that back.
Right. Like what you talking about? Then you try to come back after all these years on some anyway. No, but this was super dope. We will definitely come check out Adult Tumbling
Please
757.
do.
Thank you so much for the inspiration. Thank you for putting us on to this. Didn't even know that was a thing. And we shall see you. Episode 99, Sanele Lasana. Thank you so much. King, you got
Thank you
anything
so much for
closing?
having me.
I almost said
Nah,
lasagna again. You got anything, King?
Just make sure you check out the website. Go check out if you're in the area. Like you said, a fun date night. Get your butt moving if you ain't moving already, right? And try some new stuff. Try something different. Adult 757. You heard?
Right. And real quick, what are your socials so people can find you, your website, your socials,
That's right.
and all that stuff?
Yes. You can find us on all social media platforms at Adult Tumbling 757. You can find us online at www.adulttumbling757.com. If you Google Adult Tumbling 757, everything we got will come up. We're everywhere.
Sold up.
That's super dope. It's the only one. All right. Thank you so much. We will catch you on the other side. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye.